You sit down to rest for a moment. No urgent tasks, no one asking for anything. Your body relaxes. Your mind does not. A quiet pressure starts building. You feel uneasy. You think you should be doing something useful. You check the time. You feel behind, even though nothing is wrong. You are not enjoying the rest. You are enduring it. The strange part is this. You only feel calm when you are busy. You only feel allowed to stop when you are exhausted. This video is about that feeling. Not laziness, not lack of discipline. It is about why rest triggers guilt in your mind and why your brain reacts this way without asking you first. First, remove one thing clearly. This feeling does not mean you are lazy. It does not mean you lack motivation. It does not mean you are weak. Many people who feel guilty when resting are highly responsible. They show up, they finish tasks, they push themselves even when tired. The problem is not effort. The problem is how your mind connects effort to value. Somewhere along the way, your brain learned a rule. If you are not producing something, you are falling behind. If you are resting, you are wasting time. This rule runs automatically. You did not choose it. You are not consciously thinking it. That is why the guilt appears so fast. It feels emotional, not logical. This is not a personality flaw. It is a learned mental pattern. To understand how it formed, we need to look at where it started. Most people who struggle with this grew up in similar conditions. Not extreme, not dramatic, just consistent. You were praised when you were productive. Good grades, being helpful, doing more than expected. Rest was tolerated but not valued. Being busy was noticed. Being calm was ignored. Over time, your brain started tracking one thing. Approval followed effort. Silence followed rest. This does not require harsh parents or pressure at work. It happens quietly. It happens through repetition. By early adulthood, your mind finishes the pattern on its own. No one needs to push you anymore. You push yourself. Research on burnout shows a clear link here. People who tie self-worth to productivity report higher guilt during rest, even on days off. Not because they have more work, but because their brain expects constant output. Your nervous system adapts to this expectation. Tension becomes normal. Motion becomes safety. When rest removes that tension, your brain does not read it as relief. It reads it as risk. That is when guilt steps in. Not as punishment, but as a signal to return to what feels familiar. Now we need to look at what happens inside your brain when you stop. Your brain is built to predict and protect. It prefers what is familiar, not what is healthy. If you have lived in a state of constant pressure for years, your brain adjusts to that level of stimulation. Mild stress becomes the baseline. When you rest, that baseline disappears. Your body slows down. Your nervous system shifts. To your brain, this change feels wrong. Not dangerous in a dramatic way, unfamiliar in a subtle way. So your brain reacts. It looks for a reason. It creates one. That reason often takes the form of guilt. Guilt is not random here. It is a control signal. It pushes you back into movement, back into tension, back into what your brain understands. This is why rest feels uncomfortable instead of peaceful. Your mind keeps scanning for tasks. Your thoughts jump to unfinished work. You feel an urge to just do one small thing. From the outside, it looks like discipline. Inside, it is anxiety wearing a productive mask. Over time, this loop strengthens itself. You work to relieve guilt. You feel relief only while working. You rest only when exhausted. Your brain learns a simple equation. Stress equals safety. Rest equals threat. None of this happens consciously. You are not choosing it. Your brain is following a pattern it learned to survive. Next, we will look at how this pattern shows up in your daily behavior. You tell yourself you are taking a break. but you keep checking your phone. You stay alert, not relaxed. You sit down to watch something simple. Your mind drifts back to tasks you could be doing. You feel slightly irritated for no clear reason. You feel most at ease when your schedule is full. Empty time makes you restless. Free days feel heavier than busy ones. You often delay rest until you are completely drained. Only exhaustion gives you permission to stop. Anything before that feels undeserved. You may notice something else. When you finally return to work, the guilt fades quickly. Relief comes not from rest, but from activity. This creates a clear pattern. You use work to regulate emotion. You use productivity to quiet discomfort. From the outside, you look reliable. Inside, you feel constantly behind. These behaviors are not random habits. They follow directly from the mental rule your brain learned. Movement equals safety. Stopping equals risk. If you do not see this pattern clearly, it keeps running. If you do see it, you can start changing how your brain responds. Next, we will talk about what actually helps without forcing yourself to relax better. The first step is not trying to enjoy rest. That usually backfires. Instead, change how your brain understands rest. Stop treating rest as a reward. Treat it as a requirement for normal function, like sleep, like eating. Start with rest that has clear boundaries. For example, 15 minutes, a defined start, a defined end. This matters because your brain fears open-ended stopping. Boundaries reduce that fear. During this time, do not mix rest with work. No checking messages, no planning. No, just one small task. If guilt shows up, do nothing about it. Do not argue with it. Do not obey it. Let it pass. At first, the discomfort may increase. That is expected. Your brain is adjusting to a new signal. With repetition, your nervous system learns something important. Rest does not lead to danger. Nothing collapses when you stop. This learning takes time, but it only happens through experience, not willpower. We will close by putting this into perspective without turning it into a lesson. Feeling guilty when you rest does not mean something is wrong with you. It means your mind learned to survive through constant effort. You were taught, slowly, that stopping was unsafe. So your brain tries to protect you when you do. You do not need to earn rest. You do not need to collapse to deserve it. The real problem was never resting too much. It was never resting without guilt.